Hello! Today I will present you with the stats, some opinions, and some classes for the Bered MK8. The Bered, whatever, the new LMG in the Days of Summer update here. A very high fire rate LMG with a smaller magazine, and another very interesting weapon here, more than meets the eye for sure. Once again, I got to 500 kills with it, because I think that shows I actually have some experience using it. I do have a feel for it compared to other weapons. Okay, I shall lead with the most interesting thing about this weapon. If you watched the video I made about the previous weapon update a long time ago, the one with the BOS 14, Fang, and Prokolot, this will be very familiar to you. The Bered's base damage is 35, dropping down to 20. Pretty low damage for an LMG, but oh boy, 35 damage. I'll briefly re-explain why 35 damage is a significant number. 35 was a damage number that didn't exist in COD 4. It has only recently been appearing after that previous update on the BOS 14, Fang, and Prokolot. They all start at 35 damage. The reason being, all the 20s, 30s, and 40s you normally see in COD 4 damage values, for the most part, are built so that stopping power and Juggernaut will result in one fewer or one more shot to kill somebody. A simpler time, but that's how the balancing worked. There were a few exceptions like the M60, Scorpion, M14, and Deagle hitting 50 damage max. Obviously that wouldn't become a one-shot kill with stopping power, but for the most part that's how everything worked. Now enter 35 damage with some of these new weapons, including the Bered. 35 times the 1.4 from stopping power is 49. That went from a 3-shot kill to a 3-shot kill. Huh. And yes, doing more damage is always good in the case of injured enemies, or it will give you a more likely 3-shot kill through a wall, or you could get a headshot to make it a 2-shot kill thanks to stopping power. And finally, when the damage starts to drop at 750 units, which isn't too far, imagine 3 shipment containers lengthwise, when the damage regularly drops below 33 damage, that's when stopping power will become helpful again, all the way down to that 20 damage when it obviously helps bring it from a 5-shot kill to a 4-shot kill. So I just listed a bunch of situations where stopping power is helping you. It's obviously not a waste of a perk, but the fact remains there is one big scenario, more common than the rest of those things like injured enemies, because you heal up and respawn pretty quick in COD. When you're shooting people with body shots within that close to medium range, stopping power isn't helping you. And with a fire rate this high, you do want your engagements to be closer range if possible. That's why I have in the past, and will again be calling these 35 damage weapons, weapons that are meant to be used without stopping power. Because if we go back once again to the age-old stopping power versus Juggernaut debate, they're two sides of the exact same coin. When they're both more or less equally useful, one fewer shot to kill or living one more shot, I much prefer stopping power. It is the easiest perk to use. With Juggernaut, the flinch is also a factor. Yeah, you can live that a little bit longer, but you're getting lit up that whole time, so when they're equally helpful, I go to stopping power. But when stopping power is only helpful some of the time, the obvious option is to go Juggernaut, as much as I hate recommending Juggernaut. So aside from Juggernaut, there are many other great red perks that complement this weapon. UAV Jammer and Sonic Boom work great on classes designed around stealth or scumbag grenade spam. Double Tap is, not really practical. You'll be burning through your 60-round magazine even faster and making it harder to control. It could be fun to increase your DPS like that, but you might end up missing more and die reloading more, so I don't know about that. But now, sleight of hand. I feel like this weapon was built to try to get people to use sleight of hand, and you could definitely give it a go. When you look at the pretty small magazine for an LMG in this game, only 60, when everything else has 100 rounds and a big drum mag or belt-fed box, and combine that with the 909 RPM fire rate, that is just under the SAW, which is 923, but the SAW is crazy. The P90 is also 923. 909 is faster than every assault rifle and half the SMGs, so you will be running out of ammo pretty quickly, and it still has the painfully slow LMG reload time. Averaging out the different types of reloads, it's around 4 to 4.5 seconds, which is definitely the fastest LMG, but it's still roughly double every assault rifle and SMG. This thing is a pretty good candidate for sleight of hand. You might want to try it out, but I know the easy choice is Juggernaut. Wait, you're telling me there's a perk I can put on my class and without having to play differently or do anything, I have a quantifiable advantage in every single gunfight? Oh, cool. I'll take 3. Whereas something like Sleight of Hand could definitely save your life and make you play better, but it's harder to quantify if it's really helping you in every gunfight. Or maybe stopping power still makes sense if you're focused on earning the camos and you want those 2-shot kill headshots. Side note, the Bered is like the PKM, only having a 1.2 times multiplier for headshots instead of 1.4 like everything else, which kind of screws over the headshot damage at long range, but doesn't change much else otherwise. So in going over the big thing about the 35 damage number being special, I covered most of the other important stats. The full range drop-off is from 750 units out to 2,000, which starts to drop off pretty early for an LMG, but isn't too unusual. There are plenty of other stats you can compare by checking out Marvel 4's spreadsheet in the description. I won't sit here and read off numbers to you that won't really change how you play the game at all. I will just summarize and say that this thing does have some attributes like raise and drop times that are quicker than the other LMGs, but many things about it are still very sluggish, like movement speed and aim down sight time. So what do I think about this weapon? If you have it, should you use it? How should you use it? Well, it seems like this thing is a weird AR, SMG, LMG hybrid weapon that doesn't excel at anything. It is a good weapon, it melts people quite effectively at close and medium range, and can be used with a couple bursts at long range, but I can't think of the niche for this weapon. With that fire rate and up-close 3-shot kill, it should be performing well in close quarters. It is quicker to kill than every SMG, but not a stopping power SMG, and other problems arise. Aiming down your sight takes twice as long as it does for SMGs, and the hipfire accuracy is atrocious. You can try it with steady aim, but that only does so much, and when you're stuck in a close quarter situation, you might not have time for that big reload, so SMGs will largely outperform this thing at close range, and at longer ranges the damage starts to drop off kinda early, and the recoil isn't too bad, but with a fire rate that high you won't be hitting every shot. I'm painting it like it's kinda crappy right now, but it isn't, it's actually pretty good. But I'm saying it doesn't fill a niche. The RPD is still the best LMG in my eyes, an excellent suppression weapon. It's already pretty accurate and has great iron sights that allow you to use the grip and make it a deadly laser. With stopping power, it's a 2-shot kill at every range, and it has a respectable fire rate. That thing's a monster. And there's always the M16 for incredible all-around melting power. So no, I don't think the bird is OP in any way. That's usually the concern with these new weapons. I don't think you have to worry about it, but it is really good, very viable, it can be pretty fun, just not a game changer, not dethroning any existing weapons, which is good. Once again, that's the way these add-on weapons should be. But we haven't gotten to the Rangers yet. Alright, I can do a couple bird classes. It's mix and match. You can do tons of things with this weapon. I am liking it with the grip. The iron sights are pretty bad, but not god-awful like the M60, so I can deal with it. The inner circle is okay, and it becomes pretty easy to use with that grip on there. There are a few recoil visualizations for you, fired from the fence just back here. Not the most scientific, but there's the base gun on the left, the grip in the middle, and the ACOG on the far right. Yes, the ACOG does add recoil by making your center speed slower. ACOG on the bird would be a bad idea. I already went through all the red perk options you have. You could build a shipment class around this thing. You could be using stopping power if you're going for headshots. Juggernaut is an obvious easy choice. Moving on, you could use steady aim for up-close gunfights, or you could use deep impacts for spraying at surfaces, which you may want to pair with sleight of hand. Those are all the thoughts I have on class building. There is no one best class, so hopefully you can use all of that to build the class you want to use. But that's the Bered MK8. Essentially, it is the part 2 of their plan to add weapons that don't do as well with stopping power, trying to get people to use sleight of hand or something, but actually making people use Juggernaut. Like with the first couple weapons, the Fang and the BOS, they had that first 5 bullet thing that encouraged frequent reloading. Now they just have a painfully slow reload. Well, I think I've given you all the information on this thing. If you have it unlocked, have fun. It is pretty good. If you don't, it's okay. You're not missing too much. It's a silly weapon, viable, but rarely practical. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.